I sat inside a BMW i8.
Oh, did you?
And getting out,
Yeah.
my son said it was like a whale giving birth.
Hi there, I'm Jats. Welcome to the Junction. This is part 2 with Claire Norman and Charles Tippett, a daughter and father racing duo. In part 1, Claire and Charles shared their truly inspiring journey into motorsport. In this episode, Claire and Charles share their successes. We discuss motorsport careers other than driving, the options for going into racing as a newcomer, and take a look at the 1969 BMW 2002 Ti race car.
That's quite high revving, isn't it, for an engine like this?
Yeah.
Claire also gives us an insight into what it's like to race with Alan Blenko in a modern Seat Leon Cupra with 350 brake horsepower.
From Dad racing, there was often a winner's car, and he would be in it.
Yeah.
With a laurel around his neck,
being driven around the circuit,
Yeah.
waving to
waving to the
Waving to-
adoring crowd.
Yeah. So here we are then, Charles. We've got the car here. Let's have a quick look. So this engine then, this is what, the M10, is it?
Yes, or even earlier than that, is it? So it is the original 2002 from the 60s. It's a 2-litre.
Yeah.
In period, it would have produced 120 brake horsepower for the road.
Yeah.
Now, of course, for the road, it's got to be tractable. You've got to go to the shops. Whereas on the track, you don't have that same requirement. So we're allowed to modify internally. There's a lot of work in terms of camshafts, pistons, the actual exhaust and inlets, and you will see the carburetors are rather bigger than you would have on a road car.
Yeah, they're huge.
It runs Weber 48s, and everything is geared for torque and performance. So from a driving point of view, you really have to start and drive away with at least 4,500 revs. Below that, there's nothing. And it runs to about 8,000 revs.
Right.
And
That's quite high revving, isn't it, for an engine like this?
Yeah.
down inside here, there will normally be a little black box called a transponder.
Right.
Every car has one of those.
Yeah.
And at each circuit, under the track, there is a wire. So every single lap is timed to 1,000th of a second. So when we're qualifying, all cars are being timed simultaneously. That decides your position on the grid with the fastest at the front. And then likewise, throughout the race, every single lap is being recorded. So it's all very easy. You don't have to have a stopwatch these days.
Yeah.
It all happens.
It all happens automatically.
automatically.
Yeah.
And at the same time, with an app on your phone, you can then see the entire grid's lap times.
Yeah.
So in qualifying, you can see exactly where you are, what your last lap time was, what your best lap time is,
Yeah.
and it makes it so much easier. For rigidity, we have a bar going across, because
A brace, strut brace.
when you think
Roll
of
bar.
the stresses on an old car, there would be stresses back and forth. So that just helps keep it rigid.
And the cooling system is a standard cooling system in this car, is it? Or is...
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It has an oil cooler. Heat is a problem.
Yeah.
So above the exhaust, we have
Heat shield.
a heat shield there
Yeah.
to try and keep the heat away from the electrics.
Yeah.
Then inside,
Inside, yeah. Very stripped out.
extremely stripped out. We are both slim, and so we have the narrowest possible racing seat you can find. Quite a few people struggle to get in. Then we have a 6-strap harness, and you can see all the way around there is a roll cage.
Yes, I can see that. Yeah, yeah.
You have to have the seat, you have to have the harness, roll cage. We also have a plumbed-in fire extinguisher system,
as well, yeah.
which we can activate, or a marshal can activate from outside.
Oh, right.
So
Here, so you've
Just
got the
that,
fire
yeah.
extinguisher pull and then the kill switch as well.
in case the driver is not able to reach across for whatever reason after an accident,
Yeah.
then a marshal can
hit the button.
hit the button there. So we have a box in the middle which has buttons for lights, for wipers, for demister, things like that.
Yeah.
We have to have a special petrol tank which has a foam insert inside.
Yeah.
And all of these have to be checked at race meetings, and they're given a life. So, for instance, a seat, like our helmets, only has a life of, I think it's 5 years, and then you have to change it. The exhaust, whilst it looks like a big pipe, we are restricted in terms of decibels, and we've got a test day in 10 days' time, and the restrictions are something like 102 decibels. You will see on the roll cage there some brackets. We have an in-car camera. It's not obligatory, but it's recommended. I can then get tuition from my daughter.
We're competitive, we're quietly competitive against each other, aren't we, really? And just wanting to improve ourselves as well. And it's always you've always got to inch that little bit quicker.
We were at Spa with the previous BMW, and for the first time ever, Claire went something like 0.2 of a second quicker than me
in a session
on a 3-minute lap time. And one of the mechanics said, "Oh, it looks as though your days are over now." And guess what? Next time out, I found another half second.
Oh, there you go. See,
So
inspiration.
Yeah.
that's where we are quietly competitive, but we also share with each other particular corner lines, aspects.
Yeah, what we do.
Looking quite good, actually. Yeah.
Very good considering it's a 55-year-old car.
Yeah, it looks better than I do. It's only 2 years younger than me. I don't think I'll ever get out. I sat inside a BMW i8.
Oh, did you?
And getting out, my son said it was like a whale giving birth.
He says the sweetest things.
Yeah, he does, yeah. Oh, look at this. Did you ever think, Charles, when obviously Claire was a little tot, that she'd be here doing what she's doing now? I mean, it must make you incredibly proud.
My wife, Jean, and I are incredibly proud of what she's achieved. She does voluntary work for the British Women Racing Drivers Club as well, encouraging females into motorsport, has appeared on radio. As a result, 2 schools approached her to come and talk to their 6th form. So, we are very proud.
Yeah. It's been really interesting, actually. It's funny how one thing leads to another, and like you say, a conversation, and it can be as lucky with sponsorship, it can be as lucky with a connection, just for making more connections, and just, I don't know, sort of representing women in motorsport, not wanting to jump on a soapbox or anything, but it's important to see women racing.
We've had this conversation, haven't we, already?
And if you don't see them as often, then you wonder if it's really a thing sometimes, and so but it's interesting now, it's great how much momentum there is, and how many more women there are, even just in the paddock, working as engineers and mechanics and team
it's
managers.
It's changing, isn't it?
It's really
Slowly
changing. And also the interest, the actual sort of spectators and fans. Huge changes in that.
I know
really
Stefano's not listening, but Stefano Domenicali. What we need right now is women in motorsport, in F1, within 5 years, not you know, as you said, on record.
And it's not just racing, because there are opportunities as engineers
Yeah.
in the whole
It's the
everywhere.
whole industry.
But they're
the whole
businesses.
industry.
Big race teams are businesses that have accountants and HR managers, you know, and lawyers. And so you could be a lawyer and work for a race team if you're passionate about motor racing.
So we have chosen to race with Classic Sports Car Club, CSCC. They now run about 10 different series for different ages of car.
Some are single make, some are mixed grids of a period of car. Yeah.
And,
And
this is being raced in a mixed series.
This is in, it's called Swinging 60s.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
So all 1960s saloon and sports cars.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've got to ask the question then, how successful has this pairing of the two of you been?
We ended up winning the whole series our first year back.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Bar in 2022, we ended up on the top step of the podium
Yeah.
outright
Wow.
when
Oh, well done.
one in the dry on the Saturday and one in the wet on the Sunday.
Yeah.
So with memories.
Well, that's domination, isn't
Well,
it?
no,
That
it's
is.
great.
Oh, only just, because often you're talking nose to tail racing
Yeah.
and maybe a second apart.
Wow, well done.
Again, we had a consistent, we were
Really
had a consistent
consistent.
year, didn't we?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then in 2023, we won our class. And last year, we came second in our class. That's why I want to get back again with Claire for 2025
Yeah.
to see if we can win again.
Yeah. And why not?
Yep. No,
So when
absolutely.
does the season start?
Really soon. We're testing, we've got a track day with the club in 10 days' time, late February, and then the first race is on the 8th of March at Silverstone on the
Right.
international circuit.
Yeah. Everybody has to do a pit stop. And whether you're a single driver or two drivers, there's only one in the car at the time. You come in and you have to turn off the engine, undo your harness, get out. The other driver then gets in, strap up your harness. It's easier said than done when you're wearing all your
Oh, I'm sure.
flameproof overalls, helmets, and so on. And then fire up and go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're a single driver, you do all of that, plus you have to shut the door, open the door again, and get back in to try and level it out.
Right.
A little bit, yeah.
So even that is done, and it's every second counts.
Wow.
Yeah, so we practice that.
Yeah.
Normally, it used to be initially in 2022 when I first started racing again, always sent Dad out first and just held back and took the easier part of the race perhaps. But
Because you've got to do the start and everything. Is it a it's not a rolling start, is it? It's actually a stand.
Well, actually, the
it
first
changes.
year they did both rolling
Right.
and standing.
And it still is. Sometimes it's a rolling start,
Yeah.
sometimes it's a standing start.
More regularly, it's a rolling start, though, isn't it?
We
I think it's
prefer-
just better on the cars. It's
For
yeah,
50-year-old
easier.
cars, it's a lot of strain
Yeah.
at a standing start.
Yeah.
So to start with, Claire was coming back after 9 or 10 years, so understandably I was fractionally quicker than her,
Yeah.
but it didn't take her long to then
No.
become quicker than me. And at the moment I'm clinging on at two circuits, Thruxton and Silverstone National,
Yeah.
but otherwise Claire's faster than me.
So I won the Anita Taylor Saloon Championship or trophy with the British Women Racing Drivers Club. So I scored highest out of the women in the UK who were members, racing saloons.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you were presented with the trophy. When was that? That was quite recently, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the 1st of February, so just
Right.
over a week ago.
Yeah. Well, congratulations.
She's the first female who has won it 3 years running.
Wow.
That's true.
Oh, well
Yes.
done.
And it's a lovely silver trophy with all the names written on.
Yeah.
So a hat trick is quite
Yeah.
special.
That is pretty special. That is very, oh, well done.
Well.
That's really good.
It shows I'm proud.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and so you should be, yeah.
Through my membership with the British Women Racing Drivers Club, you claim your points if you race in the UK. in eligible races. And so, yeah, you put your results in and then you go up against all the other women competing. Overall, so single-seater, saloons, GTs, anything, there's an overall championship. And then they break it down into different disciplines and different car types. I think in 2022 I won 3 trophies and then was awarded club champion for that season. I was nominated and then won the Gold Star, the Senior Gold Star Award for my 2023 season. And won the Anita Taylor Saloon Championship for the 3 years running. I am racing in a modern car now as well, with a friend, Alan Blenko, who used to race in production saloons, Brick Car, British Touring Car Championship.
Right.
He had also had a break, you know, career, family, everything. He was at Castle Combe with his family because he was doing his research, looking at what to get into for the 2024 season, and was considering a Castle Combe Championship. But messaged me afterwards, and was just really interested in the 2-driver aspect of it. I'd explained that Dad and I were still racing again the next year. Would love to try and do 2. I always need to find a budget to do extra racing, and so that's my biggest blocker really, is the budget. And so he hadn't raced for 15, 16 years. Yeah. He was at Castle Combe with his family in 2023 when we were racing there, and we finished 3rd overall. So we were in the winner's car. They had a winner's car, and that's something else that I remember from Dad racing. There was often a winner's car, and he would be in it with a laurel around his neck, you know,
being driven around the circuit, waving to
the adoring crowd, you know, and you just don't see that as much nowadays. And so Castle Combe, they brought it back. I did find a sponsor called Nubis Solutions, and so they came along with me last year, and they're with me again this year, which is fantastic. And managed to do well. We did all this. I was only going to join him for a few test days in the summer once the weather was better. We're going to race the car. It's a Cupra, a Seat Cupra TCR car. Moved to the 750 Motor Club Club Enduro Championship. So we had our first race with that grid in May on the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit.
So that'll be May 24?
Yes. And it was beautifully sunny. It was brilliant. It's a big grid. I think I was the only woman driving, and we were in Class A, you know, 350 brake horsepower Cupra. Front-wheel drive, left-hand drive, sequential, paddle shift. Totally different to this.
Completely different.
So different to this.
I don't know how my brain wouldn't be able to switch.
No.
So I had to get a new helmet as well because they run radio, and we don't run radio in this. Alan did the start. It was a 75-minute race, so it was slightly shorter because we were a support race for the GT Cup race weekend. And I got in the car, and then went out over Paddock Hill, just dabbed the brakes. So there was nothing on the brake pedal. It went to the floor and there was nothing. And so tried to radio the pits. My radio hadn't been plugged in properly because I think Alan's adapter was still in there, so it didn't push all the way in. And so I couldn't even tell them. I could hear them, and they were trying to talk to me. I couldn't say anything back. And so just had to cruise around, trying to dab the brakes. I had things flashing up on the electronic screen saying handbrake. I'm like, the handbrake's not on. What's going on? There's no brake. Bloody hell. And so, but luckily a safety car was deployed, not for me, for another reason. I think the car had gone in the gravel. And so that gave me an opportunity to stay at a slower speed. Obviously got some airflow through the brakes. The brakes cooled down, and luckily the brakes came back just before the safety car was then sent back in again. So I got back on the pace, carried on as if nothing had happened, kind of. And so we ended up finishing 5th, which was brilliant. That's good. Despite sort of going around, really slowly, trying to sort the brakes out. And so we just, we went from there. We raced at Snetterton. We did have an electric issue at Snetterton and ended up retiring after about 25% of the race, which was unfortunate. But then had really good race at Silverstone in August. Alton Park, we finished 4th. Would have been 3rd if we had a slight battery issue. But again, it's just little niggles that you work out, improvements that you make in the pit stops. We ended up winning the race at Donington Park at the end of the season. So, brilliant way to finish the season.
Really good.
So, We want to race again this year together. I mean, we'd like to continue racing, you know, not just 1 year at a time. We'd love to sort of have a plan, grow the team.
I take it though that if you had extra funding or more sponsorship, that would really help.
Absolutely. Well, it's the same with anything. With a business, you need, you know, sort of seed money or an investment of some sort to start the business properly, really.
So if I wanted to get into, say, historic racing, say the 60s racing cars, how would I go about doing that? I mean, I've got no racing license or anything. So what are the things that I'd need to do?
To get a race license, you go speak to Motorsport UK, and they can help you talking about, you know, look at all sorts of options, because it's not just circuit racing that's there for you to have a go at. There are hill climb sprints, there's auto, solo, all sorts of things that you can do that can be quite a sort of entry level, that you can just test the water. You can even do it in a road car, you know. So then really it's getting the license. So speaking to Motorsport UK, finding a local circuit that you can do your license, your exam. There's a theory and a practical aspect of it, so that you learn your flags, safety, all the safety sort of bits and pieces, what you should do, shouldn't do. And then the driven part, where an instructor will assess you, or an examiner will assess you, how you know, position yourself on the track, how you are with traffic, all that sort of stuff. And then you would need safety equipment. You need helmet and overalls, boots and gloves at the basic level. And you'd probably need a few bits and pieces for the car. But as I said,
but you'd need a car as well.
You would need
you?
a car. But it can be a road car.
And sometimes people share cars.
Yeah.
So two friends may choose to share, and if you're doing something which isn't racing, like auto tests, one can drive, then the other can drive. And in hill climbing, that happens a lot.
Yeah.
So two people can share the workload, share the cost, share everything.
Of running the car, and they both compete it. Yeah.
I mean, ballpark, how much money would I need if I wanted to go for one season's racing? Assuming a car aside.
It depends what car, what championship or series. Right. You know, it really does.
You could start with a few £1,000s for a hatchback of some sort.
I'd say one thing that I did get involved in, actually, I entered another scholarship, the Citroen C1 scholarship, with a team called BPC Motorsport. I wanted to see how I compared to other people, because obviously I came back into motorsport, a mum of 2 children, in my early 40s, having had a break for 9 years, and then did really well, and just felt a bit of a fraud, if I'm honest. And I ended up coming second out of 2 days worth of people doing the scholarship. It's all about momentum, and it was totally different to this.
Citroen C1 with very little power.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
1 litre, isn't it? So,
absolutely.
You don't want to use the brakes very often.
But they're very twitchy, very short wheelbase. Yeah, you don't want to use the brakes. Just literally want to have your foot
placing the car in the right place and making sure you can get out as fast as you can.
Exactly. And that's very reasonable. You can go racing. I think the championships, you know, sort of say you can have a race ready car for under £4,000. You know? And so that sort of a thing, there are
these things you can do.
You can do to sort of meander your way in, I suppose.
And another way, if you're interested in motorsport as a whole, not necessarily as a driver, is to become a marshal. We always talk to marshals, and I always say thank you for coming along, because without you, we couldn't race.
Yeah.
They equally say, but without you racing, we couldn't marshal.
We couldn't be
and
here.
they're all volunteers, and they do it because they love it. So we are all dependent on each other.
Absolutely.
But that's another way of coming along and finding out what it's all about.
Yeah. Your role with the BWRDC, then, you are involved with the actual club itself.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, that's right. So a year ago, I offered to take on the role as race section secretary. Yeah, I wanted to give back, if I could, to the club that had done so much for me. I mean, I was a member back when I was racing in the VW Cup, but it was so different back then. You know, when you are the only woman in the grid, sometimes in the whole race meeting, And there's, you're a member of a club, but you never see any of the people from the club, and you don't have social media. It was, everything was email, there were emails, but it was such a different way of communicating. So I'm a member of the committee. I'm looking after the race section members. I'm also taking care of the karters as well at the minute, because they have a vacancy for karting section secretary.
We were asked, could we lend the Motorsport UK our car, and it was on the organiser's own stand, pole position. It looked wonderful. So that's very much through Claire's connections and involvement with BWRDC. Brilliant. So the guys here managed that, took it there and made sure it was clean and polished.
Yes.
I suppose I've got to ask the question, what happens in 2025 then? What have you got planned for this year?
Well, we'll be racing a few...
We've got 7, I think there's one I'm not doing. There are 8 potentially race meetings
in the UK.
In the UK. One I won't be doing, but so we'll be doing 7 of them.
Okay.
Claire has 6 races potentially with the Seat Cupra.
With Alan,
With Alan. Unfortunately, 3 of them clash with my races, so I will probably be doing those solo. But that's fine now. And it's more fun doing it with Claire. But you just get on with it. So I think Claire will have a particularly busy time.
Brilliant.
I will be busy enough. And it's my last year of racing, which I've been saying since 2019.
6 years,
threatening,
And it hasn't quite happened.
No, and it probably won't happen this year either.
Just enjoying it too much. That's the trouble, isn't it?
This is the thing, isn't it?
If you can enjoy it,
keep going.
Keep going.
Right, keep going. So Claire, I mean, obviously I've noticed you're on social media as well. So you have an Instagram page.
I do, venturing into Instagram. Yes, it's claire.norman.motorsport, and I do my best to capture my race weekends, either with the BMW or with the Cupra with Alan as well, and just anything else that I get up to that's related to motorsport.
Excellent. Well, there you go. So please do look Claire up on Instagram. She's got a wonderful page there. Well, thank you very much, Claire. Thank you, Charles, for allowing us to come and see this wonderful car for a start, but also this amazing surrounding as well. Being here in a proper engineering place has been wonderful. Thank you for sharing your story. I really appreciate that.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
It's our pleasure. Thank you.
And thank you very much indeed for watching too. Now, if you've got a car story like Claire or Charles's and you'd like to share that, then please do get in touch. You can find our contact details and an email address in the description of this video. So please look that up, get in touch, and we'll see what we can do for you. Thank you very much indeed for watching. See you on the next one.